and when the historic glories of the old can be compensated by the rich possibilities of the new era, this time, like all times, is a very good one, if we but know what to do with it. We stand in this historic location on the precipice of dramatic change affecting our world. Technology is moving at a pace that is more rapid than humanity has ever seen before. The degree of complexity that we face as a species seemingly is surpassing our own ability to deal with that complexity and manage it. We have technological tools to be able to assist us in that effort, and yet it seems as though the world continues to devolve in so many ways, almost proving the physicists correct that entropy seems to be the only real constant. The change itself is causing us to look inwardly and ask ourselves as a world the existential questions. Why? I believe fundamentally that interdisciplinary approaches to learning can be some of the most powerful ways to bridge the gap of what we perceive in the world as a lack of empathy. The reason I believe that is because we have moved into an era of time, especially over the last 500 or so years, where each and every one of us has really been pressed and compelled at early ages in our life to decide what we want to focus on. It's as if we won't even listen as a society anymore to people that bring polymathic, simply meaning many learning, approaches to the way we handle problems. We believe that complexity can only be answered with more complexity, when actually the only way to solve complex problems is with greater simplicity. We forget very often that all of the different disciplines within education are all interrelated and connected. We can start with mathematics. Applied mathematics is what we would call geometry. Applied geometry is what we would call physics. Applied physics becomes chemistry, and applied chemistry becomes biology, and applied biology becomes psychology, and applied psychology becomes sociology, and applied sociology becomes philosophy, and applied philosophy is back to mathematics. When we start to realize that everything is connected, that each and every one of us is living not in a universe of separation, but a U-inverse of experience. It makes me think that the challenges we face in society can actually be tackled when we can work together and stop placing all of our focus and attention on these hyper-specialized approaches of reductionistic thinking. We've all gone down this path that is a devolutionary path, unfortunately. We've forgotten that philosophy is such an important aspect of society, that spirituality is the core thesis for all higher learning. One of the things that I've been working on for the last several years, in mathematics and in cryptography in particular, is a means to be able to harness this power of polymathic approach across these disciplines, in technology, in patents, intellectual property. All of these different areas are areas that I would like to be able to advance technology in. But we need a platform where we can have the freedom to speak what we believe. We live in a world today where freedom of speech has been encroached upon in ways that has probably not been seen for hundreds of years. We are so afraid that we are actually dumbing down in many instances where intelligent people are forced to say less intelligent things or not to share for fear of offense. And ultimately, I think it's only because we lack empathy, because we're unable to see other people's viewpoints and perspectives. If we can actually open our minds to be able to see different perspectives and perceive different perspectives and listen with our hearts, then we're able to become heart-led. We've lived in a society that's become so logos-oriented. We're all talking about artificial intelligence. Well, I don't necessarily believe even in the word artificial, because all intelligence is intelligence that comes and emanates from a divine source. So all intelligence then has to be considered equally. I fundamentally believe as well that we have an opportunity here at this Vatican conference to be able to share our minds, share our thoughts and our feelings, and also that we can do and use technological approaches to advance our agendas for benefit of all. When one man is hurt by a policy, then every man hurts. The hurt of one extends to the many. E pluribus unum. Yesterday was the 4th of July. From the many come the one, and from the one expands into the many. I believe we're all just divisions of that number one. And if we can remember that, and remember our place in this world, and be able to work together to bring polymathic solutions, those solutions that can cross chasms, can cross boundaries, can be bridges of connection, bridges of empathy, then I think we have a chance in this world. If not, our future is pretty scary. It's dystopian. The advent of AI can be and feel and act and be very dystopian. This concept, but it's all in our perception, because the difference between the optimistic child and the pessimistic child is a quick story. Two children that were 5 years old, their parents were concerned because one was optimistic and the other was pessimistic. So on Christmas morning, they asked a psychiatrist to do an assessment, and he wanted to do a little test for them. So he set up one room with all the best toys that any child could ever want at 5 years old. And he set up an outhouse in the backyard that was kind of like a barn and filled it with full of horse manure. He took the little pessimistic boy to the room with all the toys in it and swung open the door and said, "Merry Christmas. These are all your Christmas presents." And the little boy burst into tears. He said, "This is terrible." He goes, "Why? You have all the best toys in here. The best director set, the best Lego set, the G.I. Joe with the eagle eye, the whole thing." And he says, "Yes, but I'm going to lose these toys. Some of them might get stolen by some of the people who come and play with them. Some of them are going to break." So the psychiatrist looks and says, "Wow, you're really depressed. This is depressing. You really are pessimistic." So he takes the little optimistic boy to the outhouse. Swings open the door and it's full of horse manure. He says, "All of this is yours, this horse manure." And the little optimistic boy jumps up and down and he screams. He says, "Oh boy, I'm so happy." He says, "Why are you so happy?" He said, "Well, with all this manure in here, there must be a pony in here somewhere." How we perceive the world is not actually what happens to us, it's what we believe happened to us. Our perception defines our reality. If we are looking for offense, we become the hammer that seeks the nail of being offended. We live in a time where each of us can have a big impact on the world. In my way, I've tried to create a platform where people can share their free thought and free speech on a platform that allows for a balancing, a democratization of information, because information and data is now the world's most valuable asset. Your data is the most valuable thing that you can have. Why? Because it is tantamount to your own individuality. Who you are as a person is now an extension through your data to the world around you. Deplatforming. People being told what they can and can't say. Censorship are pernicious problems across society. So we created a cryptographic protocol that is used as a messaging platform for the large group social chat category. Presently, there is no system to be able to have your own social media. We created that, and it's all quantum secure encrypted. The problems that we face in society can be tackled by each and every one of us if we work together, and if we're able to empathize. That's the muscle that we haven't exercised in so long. I encourage you here, while you spend this time here in this incredible room, and here meeting the other people, to listen with your heart. To realize that you are the most valuable thing in this universe, because through us, everyone is able to allow the universe to observe itself through our eyes. Thank you very much.